Hey guys, did you miss me again? Anyway, welcome back everybody. Hope you're all having a blessed day today. And let me tell you, for the first time, I think, on this channel, I have to say, I was not looking forward to this movie. And I had very little confidence in it because there was so much going on with the amount of characters, a plot that I did not want to research because I wanted to be surprised, but also I was concerned what they were going to do with this, on top of the fact that I thought I was feeling Spider-Man fatigue with how many movies had came out, and I had just marathoned all of the Spider-Man movies up to this point. But no, I gaslit myself into thinking this was going to be awful, but no, this is pretty great. Spider-Man Brand New Day. Right off the bat, this is Tom Holland's best Spider-Man movie, bar none. From the directing, the overall aesthetic of the film, its own identity, everything is just to the T's when it comes to Tom being Spider-Man in this film. I think Tom has more than proven himself as Spider-Man, especially because of the compelling story of him being Peter Parker, just struggling to control his evolving powers while sacrificing the identity of Peter Parker to be Spider-Man and trying to figure out how to do both at the same time, especially given the consequences that he had to live through after the last movie. And I love that it's sort of a juxtaposition to Spider-Man 2, which I will be comparing to a bit in this review. But in that movie, it was about Peter trying to find himself between the two identities and actually losing his powers. But this time, his powers are actually just getting stronger and more efficient, which I think makes for a far more visually compelling story, especially in a movie, comic book movie nonetheless. And now Peter's friends, while they aren't as prominent as they were in the first three films, jeez, tongue-tied here, even though they weren't as prominent in the first three films compared to who they are now, Peter's friends, they play their roles very well as just being genuinely nice people, because at this point they are strangers to one another. Unironically, because of this, I think Ned is the best he's been in this series, especially because he's just such a nice and genuine person to Peter. Total stranger, but just so heartwarmingly welcoming him into his life. And MJ generally is tragic, but also understandably good, at least with her character. She does share more time with Peter than Ned does, but I did find myself enjoying Ned far more this time around than in any other film. And I think the standout character for me, when we get to the characters that were in this film, Punisher. Yeah, Punisher and Peter's relationship was probably my favorite banter I've seen in a comic book movie in a long while. There was actually a time skip in this film, and years have passed since Peter made his decision to be forgotten so that way he could be Spider-Man, and you can tell that there's been character growth not only with himself but also with Punisher and even just the whole of New York. And I love the connection of Spider-Man and New York together because I feel that's been missing ever since the Raimi movies. So it's nice to see that New York itself has given itself a character for Spider-Man because the two are intertwined, at least in the comics. And yeah, Punisher and Peter, they really are oil and water at the start when you feel that they use their methods for heroism in very different fashions. But they have the same ideals of wanting to just protect what they love in their own way, even if, again, they are basically oil and water. The time skip also allows us to show that Peter has gotten excellent with combat, and in my opinion, this is some of the best spider combat in any of the Spider-Man movie. I'm going to bring up Spider-Man 2 again because for a long while I felt Spider-Man 2 had the best combat, hands down, but here you can tell that the director really looked at the recent Insomniac Spider-Man video games and just said, let's just put that in the film, and it makes everything so visually more engaging on the big screen compared to him feeling rather limited in the past. So I feel at this point this film has the best spider combat, no questions asked. Now I do want to talk about one other character in this film because I do believe they are rather controversial if you have no idea why they are in this in the first place. So I am going to put a spoiler warning here. If you don't want to see it, we'll go ahead and skip that to whatever time card that I put in. Alright, everybody gone? Let's go. So Jean Grey's in this movie. Yeah, Jean Grey from the X-Men. And I have to say, I thought it was just a bunch of rumors given the fact that Sadie Sink was confirmed to be in this movie. And I thought it was just jokes that she was going to be Jean Grey. But no, this is just straight up Jean Grey being not only a brand new character in the MCU, but also reintroducing mutants again. They've done this like 3 times now, but this is the first official time, I guess. Whatever. Sadie Sink as Jean was definitely an inspiration from fans, but she genuinely does deliver. She shows her range as not only a terrifying mind controller that just jumps between people, almost look like magic and possession, but also is a rather tragic character with a great amount of loss, especially with her being a mutant. This does have consequences because of what she goes through. And given the connection between her and Peter, in this movie in particular, if you would have said on paper that Jean Grey was going to be in a Spider-Man movie, I would have thought that would have been too much. But no, because of their mutations basically being in tandem with one another, growing stronger as they're trying to understand themselves and try to seek out their own missions here, they just work out so well together. And I feel that this was an amazing introduction to Jean Grey, given the fact that in past movies, she really hasn't been given the true respect that she deserves. And I'm very excited to see where they go with things with here, especially given the fact that X-Men has exploded in popularity thanks to X-Men 97. Now, while I do think all the characters on the film are pretty amazing and to the point, I don't think everybody was needed in this film, and this is where I'm going to talk about the Hulk and Bruce Banner. While I do think Banner himself actually adds a bit of character mindset for Peter as to how he could control his powers, the whole idea of the Hulk needing to be there definitely was just to add an action set piece into a pretty overall tightly written film, and I do think it does make the film a little too long in my opinion. Now, I do want to say that Hulk has been my favorite character, one of my favorites for a long time, and I was very happy to see that he's back to being the angry giant that I had grown up with. But at the same time, it is a little disappointing and distracting that he couldn't have done his own film. He had to share it with Spider-Man, but I guess they're trying to backtrack all the damage that they did to his character. Yeah, this movie is doing a lot here, fixing the Hulk, introducing Jean Grey, reintroducing Spider-Man into a whole different world. But brand new day, right? Anyway, now with all that being said, I think Spider-Man Brand New Day once again is Tom Holland's best Spider-Man movie to date, and it will go down as one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. And I think the Bible verse for me that brings this entire film together and summarizes, I cannot speak today, summarizes everything that Spider-Man goes through is definitely Isaiah chapter 43 verses 18 and 19, where you forget the former things and do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing new things. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland, which is basically Peter allowing himself to let go of the past and not let it hold him back anymore, and to allow himself to grow into the Spider-Man and Peter Parker that he was always meant to be. And that's why I feel this movie truly is one of the best Spider-Man movies ever made. 9 out of 10. Haven't done a little outro in a while. Just want to say thank you all so much. And hey, I've just been really busy with life right now, but I'm back, hopefully, to be a little more consistent, and I do have a several set of series that I want to talk about. I know I said I was going to do a big project, but honestly, I just lost time on them. Hopefully, one day I'll be able to touch them up and finish up those projects. But until then, it's good to be officially back, and I just want to say again, thank you all so much for watching, and have a blessed day, okay? Thank you.